of KVOI or its sponsors.
The White House is giving federal agencies 6 months to implement two-factor authentication. The IRS may make you take a selfie when filing taxes this year. Talk of proposed revamp of the entire internet with Web 3.0 and why you might want to switch to Google Drive for all your cloud storage. All that and more next on The Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to The Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Hello, Tucson and the podcast world. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for up-to-date scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 76. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Good to have you with us every Saturday at 2 p.m. We'll post all of our shows and bonus content on the ComputerDoctorShow.com. Again, ComputerDoctor.show.com. We'd love to hear from you, so give us a call during the show with your computer, internet, and cybersecurity comments and questions on our open studio line, 520-790-2040. Co-hosting today is Mike from the Cassie on the Screw Theater.
That's right. Hello. Good. And thanks for having me again.
All right. Good to have you here, too. The Computer Doctor Show is sponsored by the expert technicians at Perfection Auto Works near Speedway in Craycroft. These are a great bunch of people that work there. They really know their stuff, their cars. I've taken my car there myself. It's a great place. They... you should see their lobby. Their lobby is all intricate, and they got all kinds of classic cars there. Lots of Porsches, and
Really?
When you see a place that where people bring their prized possessions, their Porsches, their supercars, he's got a lot of those just sitting around there. I know he's fixing them, but it's a great place. It's proof that that this guy knows what he's talking about.
Sure.
You can give him a call there at 520-323-8650 for Perfection Auto Works near Speedway in Craycroft. We do have a great show for you today, so we're going to get right into the tech news that's happening this week. So, the White House is actually giving federal agencies 6 months to implement two-factor authentication, as well as some other interesting things. So, this memo, I think it was put on the White House website maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I forget exactly which day. But basically, it outlines certain numbers of days of when things need to be done by all these federal agencies. Obviously, there's been a lot of media interest about what things need to be done and the restructuring of the infrastructure and things of that sort. Mm-hmm. So, but it's not just two-factor authentication. Right now, two-factor authentication is like the absolute minimum.
Right.
Okay. Microsoft even said that, last year that they're going to, in the next couple of years, they're going to be doing away with passwords altogether.
Sure.
So we're thinking, if we're not going to have passwords,
what are you going to have?
What are we going to have?
Right.
So what do you think those are going to be? Without passwords, what other securities are there?
My mind leaps to biometrics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we say biometrics, thumbprints, your eye prints, your voice, things
voice
like
prints.
that. So any of your biology,
Right.
like anything that So that is going to be the way things are going to need to be, because apparently just having a password has not really stopped a lot of these high crimes. Mm-hmm. Okay, and a lot of federal websites, a lot of government websites are still only password-based. Mm-hmm. So they're moving up to this two-factor authentication as a basis, as a minimal thing. So within 30 days, they're supposed to be within 30 days of this past Wednesday, the federal agencies are to report back with updates to their national algorithms. And apparently, now they haven't published what these national algorithms are. These are classified documents.
Absolutely.
Because if somebody knows what those algorithms are,
it's the key to the kingdom, right?
Yeah, it's the keys to the kingdom, right? So they have 30 days to report back with the updates to the national algorithms. Within 60 days, revise the report on modernizing planning encryption protocols, quantum resist cryptography where necessary. Oh, those are some big words.
Big words.
And so when we're talking about encryption and protocols, there are procedures that need to be in place where if something happens, there needs to be something in place that, hey, this is what we're going to do if this happens.
Right.
And they're going to be having like little fire drills, like little things to make sure that this is happening. We have a question from our good friend Charles Heller. He probably has a joke for us. Yes, Charles, how are you?
No, actually, a serious question.
Yes, sir.
If any database is subject to being penetrated, what's to stop a database of, say, for instance, retina scans or fingerprints from being hacked and then being replicated? I'll take my answer on the air.
Thanks, Charles. That's an excellent question. So, it's always a cat and mouse game where there's always going to be back and forth, because anytime a new security comes out, there's also the bad guy's lab where things are generated and tools are made to reverse the effect of whatever that security is. So, great question. We were getting these reports about how this system was hacked, and all the information of like an entire hospital system or an entire government, all that information is now for sale on the dark web. But you're right. Now retina scanning and fingerprint identification and encryptions could be part of that profile of personal information. So I would say yes. So we have to beware. It would be kind of funny if we had to, if somebody hacked your thumbprint and you had to get new thumbprints.
Yeah, how would that work, right? I would be interested to see, how would you, in the movies they use films and covers and stuff like that, but how would you hack a thumbprint?
Well, you have 10 goes at it.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
You got 10 fingers, so you should only use your left. Start off with one thumb,
right,
and then when that one gets hacked, move on to the right thumb, and then go through your fingers. But after you've exhausted all 10 fingers, then you're out of passwords. You can only change You can only change your print 10 times.
10 times, yeah.
So
fair enough.
That'll be interesting. On the same level of federal agencies and how they are improving their security, next on the report is the IRS. So. The IRS is obviously one of those federal agencies, and later on this year, not necessarily for this tax season, because this tax season starts April, right around the April mid-April.
I think
April
there's an extra day
this
this year for some reason.
Every year it seems to be never on exactly April
Yeah.
15th. It's always because of some little thing, but mid-April, this is not going to be in effect. But I believe the summer. So again, 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the federal agencies are given 6 months to implement a lot of these securities. And so what they're doing is the IRS, apparently, this is according to CNET, they're going to require that you take a video selfie of yourself, okay, when you're filing these taxes or accessing certain IRS documents. So what that basically means, now this is not a picture. This is like a mini video, like a little selfie video. And in order to do that, you have to be on a comparable mobile device that has a webcam, obviously, or computer that has a webcam. And at the right moment, it's going to turn on your webcam and it's going to film you maybe a short period of time. Okay. Now, obviously, a lot of people are not going to feel very, very comfortable with this.
Yes.
Okay, because maybe they don't want the government to know what they look like.
Yeah, I can imagine there being a lot of blowback on this.
And now we're back to this facial recognition stuff, and also if you've been claiming 10 kids for the past 10 years, they might want to see pictures of them.
Maybe.
Okay, and the AI is going to know what a picture of a dog looks like too.
Yeah.
So
what is this supposed to help with security or?
Well.
Fraud?
Well, of course, they're presenting it as security.
Security and
okay.
fraud. Right.
But there's so many ways that it can be, and they're going to have to answer to the public of how it really is going to be answered, and then assurances of how it's being protected, because people don't mind usually doing something for security measures. What they do care about is it being abused or being stolen or being hacked by some other
Exactly.
person that they're not authorizing to have that information.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that when, if you go to Walmart to buy something, you have no problem putting your card into a machine because you know where it's going.
Right.
Okay. But if somebody off the street just say, "Hey, can I see your credit card?" No. So, people generally they accept the security part of it, but
Right.
they're just very, very concerned with the getting it out of control.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah. All right. Also, there's been some talk. This is some talk that's been going on for the past few months about a proposed revamp of the entire internet with 3.0. Now, Mike,
Yeah.
we were talking about this before the show.
Yep.
The internet that exists right now, it's called Web 2.0.
Right.
Okay. It's based on the www level.
Right.
Okay. It's the way that the internet works, basically. Web 3.0,
Right.
okay, is also known as the decentralized web. It's 3.0. It's the third version of the internet, which is an improvement over the current 2.0 internet. And now, just going back a little bit, 2.0 internet, which is what we have now, are largely controlled by a small group of tech giants, including places like Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, and Google.
Right.
Okay,
They own all the servers. They own everything.
All the data centers are owned, but I think there might be maybe like a 1% that might be owned by some other company.
Mm-hmm.
But Amazon, Apple, Meta, or Facebook, Microsoft, and Google, they pretty much control all the data that flows through by way of their data centers.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be some people that are out there that are just hosting their own internet on their own home computer, but that's like the small 1%. But the majority is these big tech companies. So the 3.0 will be blockchain based now and token based. So we've talked about blockchain before, how it's not something that can be, it's something that is decentralized. It's what cryptocurrency is running on. It's turning out to be extremely, extremely valuable as far as keeping things original that cannot be tampered with. If you tamper with a blockchain, the whole thing falls apart.
Right.
And then it has to regenerate itself with the properties again. We can even describe it as if you remove the apostrophe, like in one word of like an entire Encyclopedia Britannica volume set, you remove the apostrophe of one word. Right. That whole thing is now considered invalid. It drops away, and then it tries to regenerate it properly. That's how accurate it is.
How precise it is.
So we're going to be keeping you guys up to date with what's happening in Web 3.0 in future episodes. But we're going to take our commercial break with a word from our sponsors. Up next, why Google Drive might be the best choice for cloud storage and science and tech anniversaries. This is the Computer Doctor Show.
Hey, dude, man, I'm starving.
Yeah, I want some Cheetos.
Hey, dude, look around, there's no food.
What? Oh, hey, wait, there's one bag over there, grab it.
Hey, cool, dude, let's run, man, run.
Hey, what's wrong?
Man, I don't know, I won't start. Hey, dude, it's got that virus.
Excuse me. Your car sounds pretty sick. I know someone who has the cure. Perfection Auto Works. And you won't need that toilet paper when you get the bill.
Perfection Auto Works can handle all of your auto or truck repairs. Call Perfection Auto Works today, 323-8650. That's 323-8650 or perfectionautoworks.com, 323-8650. That's 323-8650.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson. Because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with Mike here, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Before we get into our next segment, Mike, what can you tell us about the Unscrewed Theater?
Well, we're located at 4500 East Speedway, Suite 39. You'll not be able to miss our sign for sure.
It's upside down.
It is upside. Part of it is. For this weekend and next weekend, we're going back to live streaming only. Given the amount of cases of the COVID cases, the spikes, we're erring on the side of caution and not holding in person at the moment. But you can find us all the information on unscrewedtheater.org. You can purchase live stream tickets and tune in tonight and next Friday and Saturday. And next Friday and Saturday is actually we're celebrating 8 years open as a theater.
Very
milestone.
Good.
Yeah,
there we go. Excellent. Nice job. And also, thank you so much for entertaining us for 8 years, and also for keeping us safe. Taking some of these measures. Some places don't care, but Unscrewed Theater does.
We do.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's very good to know. So here are some announcements. PC Magazine says that Microsoft will be completely getting rid of the Internet Explorer in June of 2022. Now, they keep saying this. This is like I don't know why they keep saying that. I mean, they say they're getting rid of it, but then they keep it, and then they say they're going to get rid of it again. I think this time they really mean it, though. Okay. I haven't had enough experience with Windows 11. I'm still personally doing Windows 10. Maybe somebody may call in and let us know if Windows 11 still has Internet Explorer on it. I think at least some of the earlier versions do. But obviously, if you're still using Internet Explorer, please stop. Please move over into Chrome or Firefox. Those are fine. And if you're using Linux, Opera is also very good. They have a onboard VPN button.
That's
the
neat.
Opera website. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, here's something interesting. So the wireless companies, the Verizons and the T-Mobiles and all those guys, they're trying to implement what's called a C-band 5G. C-band, so it's within the spectrum. So when you're talking about radio waves, it's usually on a spectrum, or you can dial into a particular level of that 5G. So it's causing some tension in the Federal Aviation Commission because they're measuring to see how badly it interferes with planes' navigations.
Right.
Now, more specifically, we should have a pilot on the show to explain this. But there's a machine on board of airplanes that's called the altimeter.
The altimeter,
altimeter.
Right.
And that tells the plane how far it is off the ground.
Yeah.
Apparently, the C-band 5G interferes with that.
That's a
reading.
bad thing to interfere with.
And if the pilot doesn't know how close he is to the ground, he's not going to be able to land very well.
Especially in bad conditions. If you have a clear field, you eye it. Right?
Exactly, yeah. So, and conditions are not always clear.
Exactly.
So when the airlines tell you to turn off their phone, they're going to have to get to a point where, because not everybody does.
Right.
They'll just put it away, out of sight, out of mind, but it's still broadcasting, and it could interfere with but it may come to a point where you may have to leave your phone in the front of the plane.
Sure, why
and then
not?
go back to your seat. It would be, but the idea is that the FAA is communicating with the FCC to see if any of those towers are even allowed even anywhere near the airfield.
Right.
Because if they're not in the airfield, they're not going to be on the C-band. They're going to revert back to the regular 5G or even 4G, which is perfectly fine. You don't have to have this blasted signal that goes farther distances, which is exactly what the C-band is.
Yeah.
Let's move on to now some science and tech anniversaries. I think, Mike, you have that corner.
We have two of them. January 21st, 1976, 46 years ago, the first passenger Concorde takes off. The Concorde things, There was two flights that day. One from British Airways flew from London to Bahrain, and Air France flew from Paris to Rio de Janeiro on the same day. they put 2 into service at the same day.
Now, that's not the first flight of the Concorde. That was just the first passenger flight.
First passenger flight, right? Yeah, because the original flight was many years earlier to prove, I suppose, right?
Yeah, I think so. So the original flight, according to research, was September 26th, 1973.
So 3 years earlier.
Which was the first Concorde supersonic over the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
So there was already some experiments, happening with very, very fast flights prior to that.
Right.
But there's the first time passengers for now.
Right. Now they could go.
Now they can go.
And
Cool.
it says it was retired in October of 2003 due to safety concerns.
Yeah, they had parts flying off and engines flying off and other things getting lodged in the plane's skin.
Yeah, going so fast, right?
Well, at supersonic speeds, now the modern day standard, would be the 747. Those Airbus, the Airbus C380 or something like that. So those are not hitting those speeds, but they're getting more luxurious, and they're putting. We just did a report about how they're able to get the garbage fuel that's made from garbage, like the jet fuel. So that's pretty good. Okay, what other anniversary we have?
Well, January 22nd, 1984, 38 years ago, the first Macintosh was announced on a Super Bowl 18 commercial, and the release was 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Although the computer was not in the commercial, it announced the release date. It was just called the Macintosh.
The Macintosh.
The Macintosh.
Or the 128K,
Yeah.
128K
Kilobytes, right?
Kilobytes, right. So that is like nothing now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you ever see a picture of it, what was housed in, it was housed in this box-looking computer.
Right.
It only had a 9-inch screen, and it wasn't even color.
Yeah.
It was black and white
Black
screen.
and white screen.
And it wasn't even grayscale too. I remember because my dad had bought one.
You had one.
And yeah, it wasn't even a color.
Right.
There was no color, and it wasn't even gray style.
Right.
You can usually get away with like grays, but there was no gray. It was
black
just
and white.
It was just black or white.
Wow.
Period. Okay.
Yeah.
Had you remember the diskette drives?
Oh yeah,
right?
3.5-inch diskette drive, which
There
is an improvement from the 5-inch, right?
Yes. Yeah. Now the 3.5 inch drives is still somewhat in use in a hard drive configuration, not a diskette configuration.
Oh, okay.
So your average desktop computer tower CPU will still utilize 3.5 hard drives as the standard.
I'd be darned.
Still, well, at least for the ones that are going past. Without going into the SSDs. There we go. Here is our final story. Why you might want to switch to Google Drive for cloud storage. So we read this week that Google Drive is going to be enabling ransomware detection in their file systems.
Oh, okay.
Now, the reason why that this is so interesting is because when people are thinking of ransomware, they're always thinking of ways that the ransomware, what capabilities the ransomware program has in getting into your files that are physically locally on the computer.
Right.
But so many experts are saying that you need to be backing these things up either to a drive that is not always connected to the computer or to the cloud because ransomware can't get to the cloud.
Right.
But these people over at Google, now these are really some really smart, a lot smarter than you and I.
Definitely.
They are putting this protection in the cloud because apparently there might be signs and little pieces of ingredients of ransomware making it all the way to the cloud.
Yeah.
So if you want to be careful, start using Google. I believe Google is the only company cloud service that is actually using ransomware as part of infection detection. And so far, there have not been any official cases of ransomware affecting cloud files. But if Google is starting to put it in there, there's a reason.
There's something for it. Yeah.
There's a reason why. I personally use Google Drive for lots of things. I have lots of documents in there, and I haven't had problems with it yet. and I'd like to keep it that way. There are lots of cloud storage services out there, but for now, as of today, 2022, early 2022, Google Drive is my choice.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, I just want to thank our sponsor, Perfection Auto Works, again for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location, Speedway in Craycroft, for your free 26-point inspection. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert. Co-hosting today was Mike. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board. Listen to the Computer Doctor Show every single week with new episodes every Saturday. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.